Welcome to United Network News, the official news channel for CARE, the Center for Amity and Restoration of Earth. I'm Sunny Galt. At UNN, you get the real news. Through our field messengers, we show you the truth about what's really taking place in our communities. We also bring you stories to help you remember who you are and why you're here, as well as regional stories that impact the people. And our World Situation Report reveals what's happening throughout the multiverse. We are here to restore Earth. In the U.S., it is Friday, July 12, 2024. A strawberry festival in Southern California celebrates the fruit's historic past, bringing people together from all around the world. We'll also learn about an abundant plantation in the UK, known for its vibrant flora and thriving wildlife. Plus, the healing powers of theta. Learn how it helped Michelle's diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. Wages for fast food workers in California are climbing, now reaching $20 per hour. And more Australians are turning to shopping co-ops instead of traditional supermarkets.
This is Calen Giff, messenger for United Network News. Here's a look at today's field messenger reports from all around the world. The Vista Strawberry Festival in California is a one-day event packed with fun activities, delicious treats, and family-friendly entertainment. UNN field messenger Addison shows us around the festival, where thousands of people come every year to celebrate this iconic fruit.
Hi, I'm Addison Gott, and we're here at Vista for the Strawberry Festival. Let's go see what they have. Every year, thousands of people come to Vista, California for the annual Strawberry Festival. During the 1960s and the 1970s, strawberries were shipped daily from Vista during peak season to many parts of the United States and around the world. This is how the area became known as the unofficial strawberry capital of the world. This festival is a free one-day event with hundreds of vendors, some with very cute strawberry designs. There are also live entertainment, lots of food, a 5K run, a strawberry pie eating contest, a strawberry costume contest, and a Little Miss Strawberry shortcake contest. I was very impressed with how big the strawberries were. My family and I had a very good time. Thanks for watching.
Next, we visit the Isabella Plantation, located within Richmond Park, near London in the UK. This place offers visitors an enchanting retreat with its vibrant flora and abundant wildlife. UNN field messenger Simone highlights the plantation's seasonal blooms and rich biodiversity.
Hello. I'm Field Messenger Simone from Richmond near London, UK for United Network News. Today I'm on a walk through the Isabella Plantation to experience the peace and harmony that this oasis of beauty provides, and I want to share it with you as an inspiration for restoration to start everywhere on Earth. So this is the Isabella Plantation. It is outside of London in Richmond Park. It's enclosed inside of the park, and it is a park of about 40 acres with incredible nature and wildlife everywhere to be preserved, and it is incredibly beautiful at every season and to be enjoyed by all. It's always open, and right now there are still rhododendrons and azaleas blooming, and a lot of other plants that are very, very fragrant and incredibly beautiful. It was originally established to actually grow some timber, but in the late 40s, George Thompson, who was the park superintendent, and Wally Miller, head gardener, developed an ornamental woodland garden. I'm always hoping that these little video can inspire others to create equally beautiful places all over the world, so that humans can have a beautiful connection with nature as well.
We want you to become a UNN field messenger. These are everyday people just like you who want to make a difference in their community. You don't need any special training or equipment. Just use the camera on your mobile phone and show us what's happening in your area. You send us your videos and our production team will create the report for you. Our website is now up and running at unitednetwork.earth. You can submit your Field Messenger reports directly through the Field Messenger tab at the top of the page. You can also email your reports to our email address at fieldmessenger@unitednetwork.earth.
Hey, I'm Kirsten from Switzerland.
This is Wayne from Tucson.
Hi, my name is Desmond from Ghana.
I am Claudia from Dawsonville, Georgia.
I'm Marky from Pretoria, South Africa.
Hi, I'm Steve McGrath, Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada.
People from all around the world are coming together.
Happy day, beautiful world. We are here in a rather small urban garden, and this video is just to show you the joys that we've had in this garden with electro gardening.
When news happens in their area, they show us what's really going on.
We have people in the streets protesting for and against.
At United Network News, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Field Messenger Helen reporting with nature, and I'm going to talk to you about the bees again.
Take the next step in restoring our planet. Become a UNN Field Messenger today.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from South Africa. If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to me. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news.
Amazing things can happen when you connect with our Creator. This happens when your brain waves are in theta. Michelle Ann Phillips is a theta healing practitioner who is also part of our care community. Michelle tells us how reaching theta completely changed her life by healing her multiple sclerosis. We know that there are many benefits to going into theta and connecting with our Creator. And one of those benefits is the ability to be able to heal yourself. And Michelle, I would love for you to share your story because you had multiple sclerosis. And I'm just learning now, you healed yourself twice from this?
I was diagnosed twice.
You were diagnosed twice. Okay, well, let's talk about your journey and how you use theta to be able to do this.
Okay. So the first time I was diagnosed was when I was 13 years old. Long story short, my life kind of blew up, and that's how my body responded.
Okay.
And I had a multitude of symptoms over my teens and into my early 20s, but nobody ever told me. So the diagnosis was on paper, but nobody ever told me. Okay. So then here I am. I'm like office manager of a large building supply company. I'm climbing the corporate ladder, doing the thing. And then all of a sudden I fell off a ladder one Saturday while I was cleaning out our supply closet. And when I was at the back rehabilitation place, they noticed that my balance was off and there was all these other weird things that they didn't normally see. And then I was in such a rush and a stress to get back to work that I caused a flare up. So I went blind in one eye. I couldn't feel the skin on my legs. I was bumping into everything. It was insane. Like, what is going on? So they had me in an MRI. I was diagnosed like a few days later. They told me, okay, here's a list of like all these medications and you have to pick one. And I'm like, what? Like the cognitive dissonance, because like I said, I wasn't told. I always knew there was something off, but I wasn't told that this was a thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so I got the diagnosis and life was really, really crazy. Within a year, I was put on long-term disability. Like I just did that spiral, that downward spiral. And I was spent the following 7 years in bed.
7 years?
Yeah. from bed to sofa to bed, bed to sofa. Oh, I slept probably 18 to 20 hours a day.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So I decided that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Mm-hmm. And I say that because that was the key. When I decided that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I knew every fiber of my being was like, we've got to change something. I'm not living the rest of my life like this. And especially like with MS, you know, like they just preach doom and gloom, and I just decided I wasn't having that. So I'm like, okay, now what? So I started looking into like energy medicine and things, and I found like this online Reiki course, right? And I'm like, well, this is interesting. So I started doing Reiki on myself, and always felt connected to source. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but let's just do the thing. So I would do the Reiki, and I would feel the energy going in my body. And one of the things I'm really, really, really good at is anatomy and physiology. My father worked for a medical supply company, and I literally learned to read by reading medical journals when I was a kid. So
how fun.
Right, I know. Yes, I'm one of those. So my knowledge of anatomy and physiology, I now see what I was doing is I was witnessing, which is like in theta, how the magic happens. The particles observed are, you know, they have to obey. That's the law, right? So I would do the Reiki on myself, and then internally I was witnessing all the little nerve endings being repaired, the myelin sheath regrowing over my nerves, and just all throughout my body. And I kept getting better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. And then I was led to theta healing. And this is, so I still walked with a cane at the time. Okay. But this was, like I said, I had decided. So I'm like, I'm all creating new me, right? So I'm going into the class and nobody knows me. This is fresh. This is new. So I left my cane in the car. So I'm like, yeah, here we go. So I get there and we have to go downstairs. So my first thought is, oh, crap. Right?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Got down the stairs, and I found a little corner to go hide in against the wall, you know, so I could just kind of watch the class. And the first thing the instructor said was, okay, everybody up, we're going to dance. So again, another defining moment where I could have said, I can't dance, I have MS, or I could stand up and just sway. And nobody could be any of the wiser, right? Because this is I'm choosing this.
Yep.
And so, long story short, we went through the course, and I was chosen to be the recipient. Like, we learned how to do like a group healing where everybody cultivates unconditional love in theta, and then the one person is the practitioner, putting all of that accumulated unconditional love on the recipient. So I was the recipient. And it was so interesting because I just kind of felt big. Like I just like big. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm like, well, that was interesting. But this was the first time in years I had done anything for more than like 4 hours at a time. So I fully expected to be recovering after taking this. And to my shock and elation, I was on my third load of laundry the following Monday by noon, which normally I'd still be in bed. The laundry machine, like the washer's downstairs. So getting laundry up and down the stairs by myself. And I'm at the washing machine, and I'm like, it was the first time that I could remember that my legs were not on fire. Like, you know, when you go to the gym and you feel the burn? My legs felt like that every single day of my life. And it was the first time my legs did not feel like that. And then I was like curious. I'm like, oh my God, can I actually get off the ground? So I like hopped, and I'm like, oh my God. And I hopped again. Oh my God. And I started jumping, and then I fell and I landed on a can of paint.
That didn't feel good.
So my husband comes running down the stairs. He's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm laying there and I'm just laughing and laughing. And I'm like, I have never been better in my life. Like, cause it was just such a relief. Like the burning was gone and the burning has not come back. So yeah. And I also, in my Theta Healing book here for diseases and disorder, I've gone through like there is a lot of different diseases and disorders in that book. And so I've done all of the belief changes that book recommends. And that just keeps getting better and better and better.
Scientists at the University of Birmingham have created a groundbreaking therapy specializing in helping people with spinal cord injuries to heal their nerves. A device that shines red and near-infrared light at the exact point of damage is implanted during spinal surgery. This new technique helps to repair the spinal tissue directly and has never been done before in humans. Just 5 days of red light treatment for 1 minute a day boosted cell regeneration by 45% in animals. This therapy also significantly reduces scarring and cavity formation while boosting the proteins needed for nerve repair and regeneration. The researchers are now moving toward human clinical trials, bringing them one step closer to transforming spinal cord injury recovery. This promising approach brings hope for better healing and improved quality of life for spinal injury patients in the future. Recent research indicates seniors older than 70 can lower the risk of heart issues by taking an extra 500 steps each day. Participants who walked 4,500 steps daily were 77% less likely to experience heart problems compared to those who walked less. Researchers were pleasantly surprised to find that every additional 500 steps, or quarter of a mile, significantly benefited heart health. While the recommended daily step count for younger to middle-aged adults is 10,000, doctors agree that this is too high for most people older than 70. On average, seniors walk around 3,500 steps daily, so adding those extra 500 steps can help keep them healthier and more active as they age. Incorporating a bit more walking into their routines could be a simple yet powerful way for seniors to improve their heart health and enjoy a higher quality of life in their golden years. New mothers in Canberra, Australia can join a program called Feeding Healthy Futures, which offers nutritional advice and support during pregnancy and beyond. This program tracks children's nutrition for more than 1,000 crucial days, starting from the second trimester of pregnancy to toddler. The program offers free 1-hour sessions to new mothers at 3 key stages of the baby's development. The advice given on healthy dietary choices helps overcome the confusion and overwhelm caused by conflicting information online. Mothers receive evidence-based nutritional guidance, dispelling common myths like the need to eat for 2 during pregnancy. Across Canberra, more than 70 new mothers have gained tips on essential nutrients, food safety, and breastfeeding. The importance of maternal diet on fetal development and long-term child health is also emphasized. Feedback is positive as the program helps parents make better informed decisions without the overload of online opinions and advice. We are United Network News. Every day we release real stories from real people all over the world.
Field Messenger reporting from Gold Coast, Australia,
Denmark,
Canada,
Uganda,
from Atlanta, in Southern California.
In their own words, people like you share what's really happening in their area. At UNN, you are the news. You are creating a new world with infinite possibilities. You are the restoration plan. Come join us for the real news every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, only on United Network. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news. An increasing number of Spaniards are facing challenges in finding affordable housing. This is due to a shortage of social housing and regulations that discourage long-term rentals. The rise in holiday rentals through platforms like Airbnb has worsened the issue, triggering protests nationwide. Homelessness in Spain has increased by 24% since 2012, and nearly half of all renters are at risk of poverty, the highest rate in Europe. Many young Spaniards still live with their parents, masking the full extent of the homelessness problem. Despite government plans to increase public housing, demand still outpaces supply. Charities are attempting to fill the void, but face financial constraints. Many Spaniards are being evicted as landlords prefer the more lucrative short-term rental market. Thousands of families across the UK are feeling the impact of the two-child benefits cap. This cap, introduced by the previous government, prevents households from receiving benefits for a third or subsequent child born after April of 2017. Recent data shows 1.6 million children are affected, with 440,000 households experiencing benefit cuts. Families with more than 2 children find it increasingly difficult to make ends meet, leading to situations where children's basic needs go unmet. Many working families lose around £3,500 or $4,500 annually in benefits for each additional child. The Prime Minister acknowledges the concerns, but cites financial constraints as a reason for not abolishing the policy. Child poverty rates in large families are projected to rise, questioning the policy's effectiveness. Also in the UK, the government has announced changes to the early release of prisoners to address overcrowding in jails, which are nearing capacity. Most inmates will serve only 40% of their sentences, reduced from the current 50%. Released prisoners will still be supervised by probation officers and may return to jail if they reoffend. The Prison Governors Association welcomed this move, saying it will create essential space across the system. Overcrowding has worsened due to longer sentences and higher incarceration rates under the previous administration. Construction delays and poor maintenance have prevented prison capacity from keeping pace, leading to last-minute releases and increased risks of reoffending or homelessness. Residents in a western Zimbabwe province face significant challenges accessing health care. Many hospitals lack essential equipment, drugs, and trained personnel. The rural district is served by only a few hospitals, including one missionary-run facility offering both free and paid services. Promises of a new large provincial hospital remain unfulfilled, and as a result, locals frequently travel long distances or cross Zambia for medical services. It's left many people without affordable medical care, pushing them to rely on expensive private options. Recently, border authorities tightened regulations on importing medication, requiring prescriptions stamped by medical facilities, impacting cross-border shoppers. Critics argue despite the government's efforts to build hospitals, most projects remain incomplete and non-operational. A new report by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission accuses pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, of driving up medication costs and favoring their own pharmacies over independent drugstores. These managers, which include CVS Health's Caremark, Cigna's Express Scripts, and United Health's Optum Rx, oversee 80% of American prescriptions. This concentration of power, due to acquisitions by major health insurers and pharmacies, allegedly disadvantages small pharmacies crucial to rural healthcare. PBMs, initially intended to reduce costs by fast-tracking administrative tasks, now face criticism for prioritizing profits over patients. According to the report, 30% of Americans report skipping medications due to high costs. Rural communities already at higher risk for severe health issues are particularly affected and contribute to challenges like high medical costs and limited healthcare access. Retailers in the U.S. are pushing back-to-school promotions earlier to compete with Amazon's Prime Day on July 16th and 17th. Stores like Walmart, Target, and Shein are offering deals on items such as sneakers, computers, clothing, and backpacks, hoping to attract early shoppers. Despite many schools opening in late August or even September, promotions are starting now. Retailers aim to expand market share by timing deals earlier than competitors, with some launching sales events up to a week ahead of last year's schedule. Many families aim to complete their school shopping by the end of July, with some expecting higher expenses than last year. The overall back-to-school spending is projected to be massive, continuing the trend from previous years. Prime Day remains a major event for Amazon, drawing shoppers looking for various deals and significantly boosting the company's annual net sales. Also in the U.S., a new California law has increased the hourly wage for fast food workers from $16 to $20, creating significant changes in the industry. As a result, restaurant owners are cutting staff hours, reducing part-time employees, and raising menu prices to manage increased expenses. Some report better job candidates due to the higher wages, which could reduce turnover. Despite these adjustments, the industry has shown job growth, adding 8,000 jobs in the first 2 months post-law enactment. However, some operators are facing financial strain with concerns about long-term sustainability, particularly amongst the smaller chains. Employees have mixed reactions, with some enjoying the financial benefits while also dealing with increased workloads. The wage hike aims to provide fast food workers a living wage, especially benefiting those working multiple jobs. Homelessness in Chile has surged, with around 40,000 people now living on the streets. For the first time, the homeless will be included in the national census, a move social workers hope will lead to effective social policies. Police and municipal workers have started to dismantle encampments where the homeless reside, often seizing their belongings, including tents, blankets, and essential medication. Many individuals, particularly women and children, face increased danger due to a spike in crime. The economic impacts of the pandemic, compounded by a housing crisis, have pushed entire families onto the streets. Migrants, drawn by Chile's reputation for economic stability, also find themselves struggling in tent camps due to stringent visa regulations. In Brazil, wind energy has sparked both improvements and challenges in rural communities. In one community, officially recognized by the government, residents enjoy piped water, a sports court, a cultural center, and farming facilities, thanks to agreements with energy companies. However, a nearby community lacking formal recognition missed out on such benefits and relies on trucked-in water, facing significant expenses. Residents also complain about the noise from nearby wind turbines and have observed potential damage to their homes and increased dust due to construction traffic. A significant disparity persists, as only 13% of traditional communities are officially acknowledged, often leaving them without vital protections. Some affected communities are seeking greater involvement in energy development decision-making processes and pushing for better compensation and protection practices. Hundreds of oil tankers are clogging up Kurdistan's highways daily, transporting oil to Iran and Turkey in off-the-book transactions. This operation has surged since the closure of an official export pipeline last year. More than 1,000 tankers transport at least 200,000 barrels of cheaply priced oil each day, generating about $200 million monthly. The scale of this unofficial export has hindered Iraq's compliance with OPEC output cuts, impacting the economy and the livelihoods of individuals in the Kurdistan region. Local communities face increased traffic and potential safety hazards on mountainous roads. The Iraqi government disapproves of this trade, lacking precise smuggling figures. Iran and Turkey have not commented on the matter. A group of residents in Tokyo, Japan, are attempting to block the construction of a large logistics and data center planned by a Singapore developer. The residents are concerned the center will harm wildlife, increase pollution and electricity usage, and deplete their groundwater supply. They have filed a petition to audit the planning process that approved this project. A representative of the residents group has criticized the development, noting thousands of trees would need to be cut down, endangering local wildlife. The group is considering further legal action to halt the construction. The developer has declined to comment on the opposition. Japan's data center market is projected to grow significantly in the coming years, driven by demand for digital transportation and cloud services. Local opposition is also rising in other areas facing similar developments. China's efforts in environmental sustainability face challenges in the fashion sector. A recent report rated major clothing companies poorly on environmental and human rights practices, noting a lack of accountability. China's domestic policy bans using recycled cotton for new garments, pushing factories to export recycled yarn, primarily to Europe. Many consumers in China prefer new clothing, associating used items with lower status. There is a growing awareness of sustainability, particularly amongst younger generations. However, the high cost of sustainable fashion compared to fast fashion hinders widespread adoption, with consumers unwilling to pay a premium for recycled materials. Experts suggest clear governmental policies are necessary to drive significant investment in sustainable fashion. As it stands, the majority of China's recycled textiles continue to be shipped to overseas markets. A recent trend of children in China playing with cigarette cards has raised concerns amongst parents and authorities. These cards, made from old cigarette boxes, are popular due to their attractive designs and the allure of forbidden items. Parents are worried these cards might lead to children to develop an interest in smoking. Authorities have initiated measures to curb this trend, with local governments across various provinces inspecting shops and markets to stop the sale of these cards. Despite these efforts, the cards are still available online. With China being the world's largest consumer of tobacco, there is an ongoing push to reduce smoking rates. Progress has been made with a decline in smoking rates amongst middle school students and adults in cities like Shanghai and Beijing. However, many parents continue to call for stricter measures to protect children from the influence of smoking. Emergency departments in Australia are increasingly treating children experiencing extreme distress after digital devices are removed. Doctors report various cases, and some of them very serious, of anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, and ADHD-like symptoms linked to excessive screen time. The dependence on digital devices is compared to addictive substances like cocaine and heroin. Case studies highlight troubling behavior in children with unsupervised device access, including disrupted sleep, withdrawal from social interactions, and school failure. Digital detox interventions show promise, with significant improvements in behavior and academic performance observed after limiting device use. Clinical psychologists emphasize the need for parents to engage children in offline activities, reducing reliance on technology for socializing and entertainment. Also in Australia, cooperatives are playing a significant role in helping people manage cost of living pressures. Cooperatives allow individuals to pool their purchasing power, providing mutual benefits rather than profit for investors. Many industries, including banking, insurance, and retail, leverage cooperative structures, with 8 in 10 Australians part of at least one such business. The successful example of a major retail cooperative in Barossa Valley demonstrates this model's potential, offering community support through discounts and sponsorships. The supermarket sector, dominated by 2 major chains, faces scrutiny for lack of competition and exploitative practices. The federal government is initiating a mandatory code of conduct, imposing fines for supplier mistreatment, but economists are advocating for increased market competition as a more effective solution. We have an exciting new announcement. We have launched a new global TV service specifically for the UNN community. Thousands of live TV channels, 60,000 movies on demand, over 30 languages, and live sports from around the globe. Between all the separate streaming services and cable for live TV and sports packages, it could cost well over $200 a month. But now with United TV, you can have it all for only $15.99 a month. Go to unitedtv.org and check it out. Get so much more for so much less.
And now, the World Situation Report with Kimberly Gogan from the Office of the Guardian. Several countries are calling desperate for liquidity, but they seem to just want it all for free. Again. And Europe is predicting a serious disruption in the European Central Bank as early as next week. All this and more in today's World Situation Report.
Now, here's the World Situation Report with Kimberly Gogan from the Office of the Guardian.
Well, good evening. If you're here in the U.S., I apologize for the news being so late today. I wasn't even sure I was going to make it. And I'll go into that a little bit and kind of explain to you what happens sometimes. But first, a little bit of regular news. So I talked about someone that I was having conversations with and what we could possibly do together. We did have a conversation. I did some explaining about who I am, what I do, that type of thing, and I sent a lot of information over. Some of that information was very old codes that haven't worked in years, just to see what would happen. Well, it doesn't appear that this particular person was directly involved, but it appears that everybody that's on his phone is directly involved, because after that they spent all night long hacking. No surprise there. But again, this just goes to show you, because most of these people were Pentagon and kind of around there, let's just say. And it just goes to show you that, you know, everybody wants something from me, but nobody wants to actually perform a function for us. And by us here, I mean the people. I mean, I could certainly put out liquidity everywhere right now. But what is that going to do for us, the people? Nothing, absolutely nothing happened positive for anyone listening to this right now, any other time I had put out money in the past. And that has to change. There has to be some accountability here. Next, other phone calls that we received. Russia, China, South Africa, Vietnam, Laos, Indonesia, Philippines. All of them looking for a way to manage their own currency. Now, those systems I was describing to you earlier this week were definitely backing all of BRICS. That has become abundantly clear. And the BRICS alleged new currencies and the BRICS alleged new allocation numbers and all those types of things you hear about, all the new BRICS partners, all of that was tied to an assignment that I had done to Russia many years ago, probably in probably around 2012 as well, 2012, 2013. So that too has expired. And so, of course, when that system went away, everything had gone away. At that time, I know that Putin, who was still alive at the time, was using that to go around and do a lot of negotiating with Saudi Arabia and a number of other countries based on this very large amount. Same thing with China. And then they had credit lines off of this facility, which they've had out there, I guess, for a few years, which was authorized by someone that is no longer with us, and therefore they can't seem to get it back. That trade facility tied to the United Nations and the Office of International Treasury Control had a lot more impact and a lot quicker than I had actually expected. We also are seeing issues happening in Australia as well. For those of you that don't know, one of the 3 people I described earlier this week, again it was Wednesday, from Thailand, was actually telling people that he was majority owner of the Australian Reserve Bank. And that all the gold there was his and those types of things. And no, it had to do with some assignments I had done a long time ago. When all of these things started faltering, now Australia's on shaky ground. We're also getting reports out of Europe that the European Central Bank could start to falter as early as the beginning of next week. They too are hanging on, waiting for some promised funds to come in. I think they believe that those funds are going to come in through insert deep state name here, whether that's coming from China or the U.S. or wherever they think it's coming from. But again, they have failed to reactivate that platform. Although, God bless them, today they tried really, really hard, and I believe they're trying really, really hard as we speak, actually. But no. Also, there is a rumor going around that the global headquarters folks have received new codes today in exchange for another payday that has passed. I believe that those codes were issued by the Rothschild family, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm looking for that information. Now, I think the reason why this was done is because, again, everybody is fighting to control the planet and to control everybody else, and they want to go ahead and make agreements with them, who's going to work for who and that type of thing. And none of this is working out. I can't express to you the amount of who's on top this week game that is being played behind the scenes. But yet nobody is actually on top over there. Nobody actually performs, but it gives them, 3 or 4 days, maybe a week or so of fame before everybody figures out that, oh, this is just another lie. So that being said, this will all probably erupt by Monday. But that's not really the reason why I'm late for the news. This is all things that have happened over the course of the last couple of days. I mean, we're definitely seeing countries in a full-on panic. We're seeing banks in a full-on panic. Everybody still wants to be on top, and they don't want to talk to me, because if they talk to me, then they know that's probably not the case. And when somebody asks that question again today, I have to give the following answer. I'm sorry. If you own your own company, then you know what I'm talking about. So you own a company and you make widgets. In this case, we're talking about governments. And somebody else wants to come in at a different widget making factory and say to you that I would like to merge our 2 companies and become partners. Well, that's not really what they want to do here. They want to actually do a hostile takeover of everything I have. But let's just say they present it as a quote-unquote partnership. Now, if it's a partnership, then you would probably do an assessment of their financial statements. You would see how much they have on account, like, how much in sales they do when they sell their widgets, what their profitability is like, and you'd want to assess their management too. You would want to see that they were managing everything properly, like you think you are with your own company over here. And you're very profitable, you've been in business for a long time, and now widget maker number 2 wants to be your best friend and go into a even a 50-50 partnership. When their company, you find out later, is fully bankrupt, nobody is managing anything correctly. Their public relations department at this point is in the toilet. And nobody over there is performing any kind of function that actually makes the quote-unquote employees happy. Number one. Number two, they've been, robbing Peter to pay Paul now for a few years, and a bunch of fake credit lines. They've also committed bank fraud on a high level, and this is supposed to be your widget making partner, in this factory here. And they're going to come to you and they're going to tell you that they feel more competent than you to manage your resources. They come in and say, well, we're willing to merge our companies, but we really need to be in charge of all your accounting, your books, your bank. You're going to look at them probably like they have 4 heads and possibly a green body or something, because that makes no business sense whatsoever. So why would I do that? At this point, why would I do that? Why would I partner with these people who clearly are very manipulative? They lie, they cheat, they steal. They're pretty good at that. They're also pretty good at murdering people, that go against them. They're also pretty good at suppressing technologies that could help with our health and, the way we move about the planet and all kinds of things. They've suppressed all that too. So, but I'm not getting where the partnership, what's my benefit here? And thus far, nobody can provide me with a benefit other than when I give you little tiny bits of information, you take it and run with it like it's gold. Now, if you think for one red hot second I sent this person anything that I wouldn't have sent or haven't even said on the news or showed you pages of here and there over the years, that kind of thing, of course I did not. Why would anybody do that? Right now, I have it's like calling up a bank hacking company, and saying, hey, you're the hackers, the ones that stole all that money from, XYZ bank last week. I just wanted to know if you'd like to have my debit card information, possibly my social security number, and then also if you'd like my bank account number, I can give you that along with the routing number and any other information you need to steal my retirement, or whatever I have on deposit, because, I just wanted to make it a little easier for you to do that rather than trying to go around the long way. Are you kidding me right now? Said no one ever. If you believe that, I have an inheritance in Nigeria for you. It's ridiculous what's happening. So more and more, I understand that there's a liquidity problem, but how do I say this nicely? Okay, so currently I make widgets, and my widget at this moment is the currency of gold. It's the new currency that's on the planet that has overridden, at least code-wise, in most banking systems around the world. That's my widget that I make. And I have countries calling saying that they would like to have my widgets. Okay, I completely understand you'd like to have my widgets. But they would like me to send them, crates or, say pallets full of widgets and say thank you very much. And then not only that, they would like to run their own widgets from said country. They would like me to just hand over the keys for them to issue their own currency of gold right out the gate. Now, no. You haven't managed currency ever before, at least not in well over 100 years, all of you. That's number one. Number two, even before that, we had the treasuries. And even before we had the treasuries, we had banks that acted as treasuries. And those are global institutions such as JP Morgan, Citibank. If you were Russia, it was Citibank. If you were China, it was, Bank of China. Those are all managed by somebody else. And not the people they think that managed it either. It wasn't even the deep state that managed it. The deep state followed orders and instructions as to what to do to manipulate the world using money. That's it. Do these families still exist? Yes. Are they genetic shareholders of any of these banks? Well, maybe on paper, maybe the banks believe it, but actually that's not the case anymore. It's not even in their operating systems anymore, and it's not ratified as an agreement either. So, but they still want to listen to these people. So you go listen to those people. You go try to make more fake money that, so you can lie to the entire world and cheat every government in the world. Again, go ahead. And that's what you're trying to do as I'm talking right now. I don't know. I give up on them. And as far as you guys are concerned, I probably would think about doing that too. As far as savings and working with or without banks, preparations are being made to actually do that, to where we could, if need be, issue our own cards or figure out, buy ATM machines by the dozens for every country if we need to. We could even figure out a way to print our own currency. It would cost a few $100,000 to do all that, but that's not that bad, and I'm sure we could get somebody to do that if need be. But anyway, the point is we really have to start looking at this as a business partnership. And I want all of you to take a moment and think about that. Do you want to get back into business with these people? Are there some benefits to it? Because the world knows that company name, right? The United States or China, Republic of China, or, the Russian Federation, whatever it is. People know that name. It's a known company name. Even though the company is bankrupt right now, could we use the company name to do something positive in the world? It's how much is the name worth? And if that is the case, we need different management, because the management that's there is not working. So all things to take into consideration, honestly. But we would have to pick the management at that point. We would have to basically say, look, your company name is worth something to me, but, we're not willing to take you on as management, and they're not willing to step down as management. So we're kind of in a little bit of a Mexican standoff, if you will. Neither one of us is willing to move. So, but I'm also not in their position either, where we actually make some sound decisions when it comes to not overextending yourself and that kind of thing, to the best of our ability. So, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about what's happened today. That is the real problem. Give you an idea of what the base root problem is. But I can't give you full details at this moment, because I'm not sure if we finished it all off completely. So this is more on a higher level of things, meaning, people that would be aware this was happening would be your SSP folks. You might see some global headquarters, barely, maybe some family members, some of those people kind of thing, that might be vaguely aware of what happened. But clearly, these people think this is a positive thing. And I took a look. I guess the Q clock expired last night, and then it rolled back over for another 10 days. And now it basically tells us that it's going to do a full sweep. Incoming alert, incoming dimension shift. The sweep is coming. Now, either these people are one of two things based on what happened today. Either they are the most evil human beings that ever walked the planet, or the stupidest. And there's no in between for these people, because they somehow used to get information from somewhere that something was going to happen. Now, let's just say they're the stupidest people. When Marduk was around, I used to watch him answer the phone, and actually at one point physically in front of their face, watch him answer the phone for what I call those people. this would be your Order of the Black Sun folks, and this would be your Rothschild folks, and the families that you know the names of, and some of them you don't. These folks here would call, and they'd give them some line of whatever, and then hang up the phone. And they knew they were lying. They used to take bets amongst each other, for who was going to tell the most amount of lies and have the humans believe them. And so either these people are stupidest humans on the planet and still believe that line, or they are just pure evil. Either way, the best way I can explain this to you without causing a problem for us is some beings, as I had told you before, have the ability to make a consciousness transfer, meaning they can even split their consciousness into hundreds of little pieces and put it in any universe, anywhere, any dimension, any pocket of time, anywhere in the universe, and operate them all simultaneously. And I have been feverishly hunting down any of their consciousness that I can find anywhere. So it's almost like if somebody blew your body apart into 1,000 molecular pieces, and then each molecular piece went in a different direction somewhere in the universe, and yet you have a centralized operating system for all those pieces called your consciousness. So therefore, your legs could be walking on Mars, and maybe your head is, here on Earth, and maybe your arms are over there, but they all perform similar functions like you were still all one piece. And this is what these beings have the ability, not humans, but these beings have the ability to do. And they're granted that ability by, at one point in time, many years ago, by anti-source. So hunting down all these little molecular pieces of consciousness everywhere has been extremely painful, because even though you get one group of it, one bunch of it, one thing stuck in a computer system somewhere, it doesn't mean it's not operating from the 9th density of the 9th plane or the 8th plane of the lower astral somewhere, and there's just a speck of it and you've got to go find it. And it's very frustrating for me. But I'm sure this is like winning a war by attrition for these folks, because, they figure if they just keep us going and going and going, they'll wear us down eventually. But that's not the case. We're very resourceful on our side, and we keep fighting the good fight. But when that consciousness is still active, even if it's just one particle of that consciousness that's still active, it's still going to take the orders and instructions from the main consciousness party. And even though 99% of the particles are gone, that one particle will still activate something, which then tries to activate something like an extinction program on Earth, for example. And the rest of the people, if it's not the SSP that's running this Q thing, the rest of the people all thought, yay, money's coming. Money's not coming. You're all going to die today if nobody did anything, because some speck of consciousness is somewhere in the universe that you have to hunt down and find before everything erupts here on this planet. And sometimes, the frustration level gets really high, and sometimes it takes all day, and sometimes it takes all night. I can't stress to you enough that I can't give more information at this moment, because if they find it, if there is something out there, and if they manage to connect to something, what could they trip? Because they really don't understand what they're connecting to. Number 2, it became apparent that there were a couple of communication posts left on this planet where they were getting standing order information through this consciousness somehow, some way. Those have been eliminated, at least the ones that I could find thus far. And hopefully this information will stop about these crazy quantum flips and whatever they're talking about on this Q clock, because they're basically talking about us all dying. I don't know if they know that. And quite frankly, their stupid president or fake dead guy that they want to put in an office doesn't really mean a whole lot at this point if there's no American citizens and there's no citizens on the planet. What are you going to be running? I mean, what? There's nobody to follow you. There's no souls for you to leverage. There's no nothing for you to do at that point if we're all wiped out. But you clearly knew that there was going to be some kind of a sweep. Were you told by this computer system that they were just going to sweep bad guys away? No, it was everybody. Why do you believe anything that comes from a black screen made of black plasma with green plasma writing? Why do you believe this? I just don't get it. I mean, clearly it's black plasma. Now, black plasma would infer that you're reading something virtually on antimatter at this point, or dark matter as you call it, which means it comes from a dark place. And then you get on YouTube and wherever else you go and you start talking about God and Jesus and saying prayers for people. Get over yourselves, people. I mean, really, this is ridiculous. But anyway, the point is that I'm hoping, and I'm about to go back and check here as soon as I'm done giving you a little bit of an update here. But I'm hoping that this has been cleaned up. It's been about 15 hours so far of doing this, and we'll see what happens tonight. Hoping, I can get, as soon as obviously, they figure out that those codes don't work, they're going to be going a little bit crazy tonight too. So if you're finding you were feeling off, feeling sick, feeling weird today, off and on, like it would come and it would go and it would come and it would go. This is probably the reason for that. But hopefully by, sometime next week, I can go into a little more detail once I'm 100% sure that there's nothing they can try to hunt down to get some information from, or, kick off some extermination program somewhere that exists in some other density. Oh, I'm hoping, trust me, I can hear it, in all of you, when I see you on the chats and stuff. I'm hoping that this is over at just as much as you do. But you're fighting a war on multiple levels. You're fighting a war with an enemy that doesn't even know what they're doing, what they're triggering. Maybe not. Maybe they're just flat out evil and think they're going to be gods on another planet somewhere or something. I'm not sure, but hopefully soon. I'm hoping so, but I am going to get back to this and make sure that nothing else is going to go off overnight tonight. As I understand it, the risk could last up to 3 days. So I want to make sure that that's been cleared up. And I wish you all a wonderful weekend. And I will see you on Monday, hopefully with more details. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Want to share news from UNN? Help us change the face of social media and use it for good. Connect with us through our online channels. Our social media team creates clips from each newscast you can easily share with people you care about. That's also where you'll find our UNN Meme of the Day, a great way to encourage critical thinking. Links to all our social media sites are available at the bottom of our website at unitednetwork.earth. Let's change the face of news together.
And that wraps up today's news update. Please share UNN with your friends and family. We need everyone to come together and help restore our beautiful planet. When news happens in your area, record and share it with us so together we can share it with the world. Remember, if it's going to be, it's up to me. I'm Sunny Galt. Join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the real news.